Hello my loves, welcome back to the Milk and Honey Life channel. I know this is sorely overdue. Everybody's been requesting a planner video pretty much since quarantine craziness happened. So today I want to finally share what has been working for me with planning. Totally new planner style that I have never tried or shared before. I'm finally going to show you guys what I'm doing from last year and my planner for this year. I'll also give you a quick update on my binder planner and my Louis Vuitton agenda planner. We're going to talk about all the things planner, my favorite office supplies currently. It's going to be fun. So let me switch the camera so you can see what I'm doing and we'll dive in. All right, I think I'd like to start by catching you up on my planner from last year. So those of you who've been sticking with me for a while know I actually prefer to do my planning in a full-size binder typically. I feel like the beauty of planning in a binder is it's huge. It can fit no matter what's going on in your life. You can like boil it down and fit it in a binder. So I do love this planning method. I recommend it. I have a ton of videos on it. This is my gorgeous planner from Target that we're all obsessed with. I know you can still find it sometimes at Target. It's not online, but you guys tell me you find it. In here I have this really adorable pin pouch by the UB brand that was also from Target. And then I have dividers for my work clients, home projects. Over the holidays I had like my Christmas planning in here. Basically I just have different dividers for different parts of my life. So I'm not going to page through this whole thing, but I just basically wanted to show you I'm using this like a project planner right now. Goals, work, things like that go in here, but it's not my daily planner. Pretty much since the pandemic just got so crazy in the middle of last year, or early last year, I just found myself not needing this much space. You know, my old planner printable had like 20 to-do lines and like 20 appointment lines, and I was lucky if I had like one thing to do. Because like so many people, my work was like really severely impacted, and overnight I went from having a ton of deadlines and projects to having like one or two here or there. So yeah, I had to adjust the way I plan and live my life, and just like everybody else. So this became a project planner, and it is sort of a separate little thing, just a binder with different sections. And I decided to scale down my daily planning to fit into like a half-page size. So I got this pack of empty blank notebooks on Amazon. I think it was a 3-pack, and it's just plain paper as a very faint grid. But just a blank spiral bound notebook. And I was just kind of craving sort of like a fresh breath of air that would just give me some room to plan my life, but not overwhelm me with like endless possibilities and so much room. Like I just kind of wanted to focus on a small space, if that makes sense, and try and make sense of my life and how things were changing and everything like that. So the thing I like about these planners is they have a clear cover. And I thought that was kind of a fun way to customize it as, well, it's not a planner, it's a journal. But I thought that was a fun way to customize it as a planner. So like last year I just printed out this little doodle that had the year 2020. And at first I really wanted to make it more of a true bullet journal. I watched so many videos on bullet journals. If you've ever gone down that rabbit hole, you know it's deep. There's pretty much infinite possibilities of what you can do with a bullet journal. And I tried it out, and I have to be honest, it really didn't work for me to do it like the traditional full bullet journal style. Like I found it too wide open, too intimidating. My perfectionism was like creeping up. So I basically just did a few cute spreads in the beginning here. Like I made this, took me forever to figure out how to draw this book with the open pages, and I was going to keep track of all the books I read, and I wrote down like the first 2 books I read, and then I stopped filling it in. So then the other day I was like trying to remember which books I read last year, and they're not even in order. I don't know, I basically just overwhelmed myself with the possibilities on this. But I had fun with it. Like I was making all these cute spreads. I made this one for my pen pals because some of them are real life friends, so they're like in my phone, but some of them are just pen pals, so I didn't have their address anywhere. So like in this little envelope is their address, and then like with my international pen pals I would keep track of when I sent their last letter because the mail was taking so long. So I would just jot that down inside of the envelope, and I thought that was cute and I enjoyed that. When we lost our dog Lolita last year, I made her this photo spread, and I really enjoyed having these photos of her in here. The way I printed these was with the Instax, is that how you say it? Instax mini printer. I've absolutely loved this thing. It's so easy to use. It's pink, so it's adorable. And it just prints out these like little Polaroid style photos, and you can print it just directly from your phone. It's so fast, just tape it in the planner. So I love that, and I kind of wanted to start making my planner like more of a journal, like a memory scrapbook too. And that was the concept behind like a spread like this. I tried to do some more like artsy spreads, because if you look up bullet journals, people are so artistically talented with it. So as I was kind of struggling with the early stages of the pandemic, like I was really focused on my mental health. I've always been a bit of a hypochondriac. I really don't do well with like health scares ever since my mom was diagnosed with a terminal illness when I was like 6 years old. So not to turn this into a therapy session when it should be a planner video, but the point is I was really focusing on mental health and trying to adjust to all the changes in the world. So I made myself this little list of reminders of things that really help me when I'm struggling with anxiety. And so that was helpful. But there again, like my perfectionism kept creeping in, like trying to doodle. Like I'm not an artist, like I'm not a good doodler. This took me way longer than it should have. So I wasn't really enjoying spreads like that because they were stressing me out a little bit. I love to make lists, but I don't love to feel pressure to make them like perfectly artistic. And I know that's just for me, like most people do really well with the creativity of a bullet journal, but for me, that wasn't really working to branch out like that. Like here I started trying to make a list for seasonal living. Like I've been really attracted to trying to live more in the season, and I feel like each season brings out different feelings and goals for me, so I kind of made a little list of that. And then I was going to do a bucket list for each season of like fun activities that I could do, especially in lockdown. I thought that would help to have like little things to look forward to that were still safe and okay to do. But as you can see, I never got around to filling in the seasonal bucket lists. So stuff like that really appeals to me. I really love the idea of doing that. And then I thought, oh, I'll print out little pictures and make it like a memory book. And I'm just being real with you, like that didn't happen. So to that extent, the whole concept of a bullet journal as a scrapbook just didn't really work for me. But as a planner, I started to really like it. Like I really enjoyed that I could change each weekly spread or daily spread just to suit whatever was going on. So at first I was like taking my little ruler and drawing out these separate days. I had everything color coded with my highlighters, and I thought that was really satisfying. But on the other hand, it's like you can just buy a weekly planner if you want this layout. So I based it on what kind of week I was having. And like I've said, my workload dramatically cut back. I was basically living like my dream of being a stay-at-home dog mom. And so we had no social engagements. Like usually we would be going into like Hollywood for fun screenings or like trying to take advantage of like cool LA stuff to do. And just all of that grinded to a halt last year. So this was like a busy week actually. And so it made sense to do this. But then some weeks I would have just like 4 things for the whole week. So I would just use one page and maybe just write it out as a list. So I liked that I could figure out based on what was going on, what style I want to do for the week. And then if I did have a busier day, like I would give a whole day its own page. And that worked out well for me to do it like a to-do list, or I could also map it out by the time of day, like try and schedule my to-do list so that it corresponded with my routine for the day, things like that. So yeah, there's just a bunch of different styles that I tried out throughout the year. There were weeks where I didn't need to plan anything or I just didn't feel like cracking this open, and I was just trying to like handle life on a day-to-day basis, just to be real with you guys. But that was the beauty of using just a blank notebook as my planner. I had the freedom to take it day by day or week by week, which was pretty much, I think, what we all had to do last year. The other thing that was really nice about it is Since there's no pre-printed dates, you're not wasting paper if you skip a week or skip a day. I really enjoyed that I didn't have to waste any paper. I really enjoyed that I could just take a random page and make a random list, jot down whatever's on my mind, like I call it like a brain dump, and just get all my ideas and thoughts out on paper. Things like that were awesome. Another thing I really enjoyed doing was, as I read books, I started taking notes on what I was reading in here. So like here's some notes from a beauty book from the 50s that I was reading. And I just, the schoolgirl in me will always love reading and taking notes. And I liked that I just had this one notebook that could contain everything. My planner, my thoughts, my list, my to-do list, my notes. If I had done a better job of sticking to it, it could have also been my memory scrapbook, things like that. So just as the year went on, I kind of made this work for me in different ways. And I'm taking the concept into 2021 because I still feel like it's working well. So I'm using another one of the planners or journals that I got in that set. And I will show you how I have it set up. I just put this little pink tassel on it to make it cute. And I like to keep 2 pins connected to the planner so that I have them at all times. In this side, like in the spiral binding, I stick whatever writing pen I'm using. So this one is a Staedtler, and it's the prettiest baby pink. I love felt tip pens, so I always have a felt tip pen. This one's almost a little too fine point for how light the pink color is, but I just love it because it's so cute. And then for the cover on this one, I've been really craving kind of simplicity, sweet little illustrations, like line drawings, like simple things like that. And of course, the color pink always. So I made this little illustration for the cover for this year, and this will be in the printable I have with this video if you want it. And I just printed it on pink paper and I taped it in using this cute little washi tape. And I don't know, I just wanted something simple. Like it still has that scrapbook kind of feel, but I just wanted something really simple for my cover. Oh, and then the other thing I have here is a pin loop. This is just an adhesive pin loop that I got a set of. And I just stuck it onto the back of, like the back page of the journal so that I can keep another pin here. This one is a wet erase marker, so I will explain that in a moment. But just to do the flip through, I have a blank page at first. I don't know why, I always feel the need to leave a blank first page. And then we're only a couple weeks into this year and my schedule has still been pretty simple. So I mix it up each week like I was explaining, but like this week I just did a 1-page, basically a list. And I use Google Calendar for my main calendar online. It's easier because my husband can share it with me and I can just open the app or go to the website and see what we have going on for the day. So that's why I don't feel a huge need to have like a monthly spread in my actual paper planner, because if I do that, I'm just copying the information over from Google Calendar, to be honest, and I'm just repeating myself. So as much as I prefer paper planning to digital planning, I do a mix of both. If you've read my planner ebook, I go into a lot more depth on that. I use like the Notes app on my phone. I use the Google Calendar app. I have certain things that just work better digital. But the things I like to have in print are like kind of a bird's eye view of my week or my day and my to-do list. Like there's nothing like the satisfaction of checking off a to-do list. So just based on whatever the week is, I've just been writing it out in list format here, just so I can see like, it's not that there's anywhere I have to be, but if there's a Zoom call I have to be on, or a phone call I have to be on, or a deadline that I have to meet, it gives me that like bird's eye view. So for this week, I just wrote each day in different colors. I have this set of pins that I've been loving. This is what I used on this spread. These are probably my favorite pins of life. It's like the classic felt tip pen. It's like a bolder tip, and I like to have slightly bolder writing. It's the Papermate Flair pens, so I love them in black. And I really love this cute, kind of like spring colors. They just make me happy, pastel colors. So I've been loving writing with these. I think the pink one has been just my favorite pen of life lately. This is what I used here. Alternated the colors here. So this isn't like any meaningful color coding, but when I do have a busier week, I like to color code it either with pens or highlighters to kind of give me a better visual cue of like what's going on. So on the last page of this planner, I taped in a key. And I just hand wrote this out, cut it out, put it on with washi tape. And then the washi tape kind of acts like a hinge. So I can flip this out. And then as I'm writing, I can consult. So if you're into bullet journaling, there's like a whole system, like a code, different little symbols that you can use, things like that. And I don't go that hardcore with it, but I do like to check off to-do boxes, or if I cancel or postpone something, I like have a little system for how I like to write that out. And then if I color code it, I like to do it by like pink is my color, blue is Nate's color, purple is both of us, and then I have like home and health and to-do lists. So some weeks, if it's busier, I will color code like that with highlighters. And let's talk about my favorite highlighters really quick. These I've shared before, but these are probably always going to be my favorite highlighters of life. They are the friction ones. I love the pastel colors because they're really light and pretty. That's what I used on this highlighting here. I don't like, can you even see it on camera? I don't like an overly bold highlighter. Like, I like gentle, soothing highlighting, not stressful highlighter that's like yelling at me. Also, these are great because they're erasable. So if you ever change your mind or you erase or you highlight the wrong part, you can erase it. So I love the pastel set of those. Mild liners, I know like everybody loves them. To me, it's like a marker, which is great. They're really cute markers and they come in really cute colors. But they're not as mild as you would think for a mild liner. Like, I think these are much more mild highlighting. But I do enjoy using, and they come in a huge range of colors. Like, I think a gray highlighter is really fun to have. So that's good. And then I also just love this one. Like, it's so satisfying. These chunky, yummy, delicious highlighters in the perfect pink. So have to always have one of those around. But yeah, that pretty much covers it. Anyway, so here's my key. I just copied this. I just moved this page from last year's into this year's, and I consult it once in a while if I want to like really get organized with how I'm mapping things out. But yeah, so now we're up to the current week. And like I said, nothing like special or revolutionary. I'm just listing out basically things I have to do at a certain time. But this right here has been the key of my planner piece and the thing I really wanted to share with you guys I'm really excited about. And this is sort of a concept I came up with or started using last year, and it has been the number one thing that I love. So let's just take this out. So I just ran a clear laminator sheet through the laminator with nothing in it, and that gave me a clear piece of plastic. And then I cut it in half so that it was like a half page size stacked up. And I used washi tape to seal the top or the bottom and the right side edge. So essentially it just made a sleeve. I know this is really hard to show you because this is clear, but essentially this is like a little sleeve that's open on the top and the side. Then I hole punched it so that it would fit into my spiral notebook. And the way I did that was just to take a random page and trace onto here a little dot where each of the holes should line up. And then I took a single hole punch and just punched where each of the little dots was. So the result is that I have all these tiny holes on the side, and it can pop in and out of the spiral binding, and I can tear it and move it to wherever I am. So I love that because it's like a page marker for my current week. So I can have it here, and it's a little bit bigger than the size of this planner. So I can just grab like the top of it and flip right to my current week. So that's really handy. And then also the fact that it is clear laminate means I can write on it with a dry erase or wet erase marker. And then the concept of what's on these two pages is basically when I was feeling so overwhelmed and trying to adjust to just the changing pace of life and everything right now. The thing that was giving me comfort was the thought if I could just see my whole life on paper, like see everything I have to do in a day and everything I have to do in a week on one page. So this is like the ultimate bird's eye view, I guess you could say, of my life. And the way I did it was to break down my daily routine on this side and to break down my weekly routine on this side. And this is a printable I'll have for you guys in my shop if this concept appeals to you, so don't worry about that. But yeah, basically what I've written down is breaking down my day hour by hour by hour. And it's in checklist style, so I can check things off as I go. It's almost like a to-do list built into a routine. And I just found that routine has become so important. Like, it can really bring a lot of peace of mind if you need it. Anxiety comes from like not knowing what's going to happen next. And when you do have more of a routine and a structure to your day, that kind of gives you that comfort of hopefully knowing what's going to happen next. So that was something I had kind of not been focusing on for recent years as much. Like, I've always worked from home, and so it wasn't even a huge adjustment in that regard. It was just suddenly trying to balance my own stress levels with what was going on, like, nationally and with the world and with my own career and everybody's health, and you know the stresses of 2020. So it really helped me just to kind of dial it down to the small scale of my daily routine, like the things that I can control, and putting them here. Another thing that really helps with this is if you take some time to identify like what your priorities are in life, having a daily routine mapped out like this lets you ensure that those priorities are built into your day. So like, if I really want to focus on self-care, taking care of my little family, just my husband and my dog, taking time to be working on like things I'm passionate about, stuff like that, I can make sure I have like a little bit of a line item in my day for each of those things. And that way, like, a whole week doesn't fly by and I'm like, oh, I never did any self-care this week, or oh, I never sat down and worked on that project this week. So that's the concept for me behind this. And I just designed it with these like cute little illustrations, just because I've been kind of craving like cute, girly, sweet things like that. So I have like ballet slippers and roses and teacups and champagne. This really cute little moon and swans. I've been really obsessed with swans lately. So that's just kind of from the design element. I used a very simple font, partially because I want to make sure for the printable it would work for you guys. So hopefully everybody has this font. And I titled it, honestly, just kind of silly, just to have some fun with it. Good Girl's Guide to Daily Loveliness. I just thought that was kind of like a cute way to put it instead of just saying like routine. But this just is daily routine followed by the to-do items that happen like in that time block. For me, the best thing that's working is to have like 3 2-hour productivity blocks in my day. But honestly, I just haven't been in a boss babe mindset, frankly. Even before the pandemic, like, that just my focus wasn't as much on working as it was in the beginning of my career. Like, I started to feel like I'd rather have more time to do, just to live slower. I think there's kind of a movement towards this in general, but like, I found myself wanting to just sit down and just watch the sunset instead of working so late. I looked out the window and it was dark already. So that was already kind of a focus and a mindset shift I was making. And then the pandemic pretty much forced my hand on that, and my workload really cut off. So yeah, work isn't like hardcore 12-hour days for me right now, and I'm totally okay with that. Like, earning less and spending less feels fine. So that's where I'm at personally. And the nice thing about this system is I think you can edit it to fit whatever your mindset is. I think if I do go back into a more hardcore, intense phase of life, I'll just easily be able to tweak this to reflect that. But for now, I have it like, I have my morning quiet time, which is so important to me, you guys know. I have like my morning routine things that I need to do to take care of myself and my family and like start our day right. And then I have the 3 productivity blocks. So if I have 6 hours of work, then of course that's where that would go, to make sure I'm meeting all my deadlines for my clients. But also some days I might use one of those 2-hour blocks to like deep clean my house, or I might use one of those 2-hour blocks to like do errands. So of course this just all really depends on the individual. This is just kind of where I'm at right now with my workload and my priorities. What else is on here? I have like the little reminder to watch the sunset, because like I said, that does matter to me. I have all of my meals on here and time to like clean up before or afterwards. Like evening relaxation. I have it's just, honestly, it's just a little bit romanticized. Like instead of saying walk the dog, I have take a moon bath, because when I take the dog on the evening walk, I like to look up at the moon and the stars and make it like a little bit of a moment to just slow down and be present in my life. And I think best case scenario, that's what planners can do for us. They can really open the door to take your time more and savor things more. And I have my like evening beauty routine and stuff like that. Also at the bottom, I've written, what can I do for my body today? And that's just a question I've been asking myself. I think there's a few ways to word this that will get at the same point, which the point for me is, what can I do for myself? Like we sometimes get swept up in going like a mile a minute and never really stop to ask ourselves what we can do for ourselves, especially, you know, being women and caregivers, and maybe you have kids, maybe you're taking care of your older parents, like whatever the case might be. You might have a really demanding boss. We all just find all these ways throughout the day to take care of others or to be called in different directions by other people. And so this is my little reminder to myself to also be accountable to me. So usually in the morning when I have my quiet time is when I will look at my schedule for the day, think about my to-do list for the day, and also think about like what's one little thing I can do for myself. So I will show that in action in a second. And then the other side of this, like I said, is the weekly planner page. So on this side, I have it broken down by all 7 days in the week. And I have my recurring to-do list tasks that I like to do on those days, and I can check it off as I go. And then at the end of the week, just erase it and start over. And then on the left side of the page, I have daily recurring tasks, and I have them broken into daily housework and daily desk work. So basically things I like to try and do every single day around our house just to keep it tidy and running smoothly. And again, this all comes back to mental health, like to help myself feel calm and happy and cozy in our house. And then I also have desk work, like little things I need to keep up with every day so it doesn't just snowball out of control, like emails. We have a private Facebook group for the Milk and Honey Patreon Club, and so I like to try to be active in there every day. Like I'm not always that consistent on every form of social media, but if I'm gonna spend some time on social media, I want to spend it with those girls. So I have that on my checklist. Planning the next day, clearing out my desk inbox, and getting back to any correspondence I need to. So those are like my daily to-do list sections that are recurring. And then I'll show you what I do with extra to-do list items in a second. But basically that's the breakdown on this. Like this is sort of like the weekly desktop view, and this is the daily view. Okay, so here it is in action, so you can hopefully get a feel for how I use this. I hope I'm explaining it well. But like I said, it's kind of a place marker for my current week, my current day, and I just flip right to it. And then as I go through the day, I check things off in here. I know most of us have our routines kind of internalized, but I still find it really satisfying to check things off, even though there's like 0% chance I want to have coffee in the morning. It gives me that little sense of satisfaction to check it off as I go, and it kind of grounds me in whichever part of my day I'm in. So like I've already done my morning routine and everything like that. I've had my first productivity block for the day and my lunch break, and we're into this current productivity block. And so you'll see here, I kind of jotted some notes for myself. Usually when I'm planning the day ahead, like at the end of the night when I've done everything, I will wipe it clean. And I like to use the wet erase marker so that it doesn't smudge as I'm going. But then at the end of the day, I can just take like a wet rag and wipe it clean to start fresh the next day. Very satisfying. I'll also obviously saves paper. I'm not like reprinting these pages every day. I'm just using this little laminated pouch. And if you don't have a laminator to make a pouch like this, you could also use a page protector if you're doing this full size, or you could just cut a page protector in half, and you can use dry erase markers on those as well. So anyway, as I'm planning the next day, I'll wipe it clean, and then I'll think ahead to what I have to do specifically the next day, and I will maybe designate how I want to use my productivity blocks to make sure I get done what needs to get done, or things like that. So for today, I had just taken the note that I would do the filming during this block, and I have errands to do later. And I check it off. Then, like I said, this is kind of my little spot to just check in with myself. And I don't know, it's like springtime here in LA. Like the weather's been so beautiful and warm and sunny, and I'm just craving picnics and outdoor time. Also, we're still very much in lockdown here, so fresh air is like amazing. So I was just craving to take off my shoes and feel the grass on my bare feet. I know that's weird, but having like a little moment like that, like that's free, that's safe. That checks all the boxes of something I can do just to give myself a little me time in my day. And then of course I also try to build it in, you know, like use my beauty routine as an opportunity for some me time. Just like I had that mental health checklist in here, I try to incorporate those little things throughout my day just to make sure I'm not letting things snowball, let my anxiety snowball or anything like that. So that is how I use my daily routine. And then throughout the day, I will also flip to the back side and use this basically like a to-do list. So like I already did my housework chores that I like to do every single day, and I will check those off. Also, by the way, I don't do all of these things every day because so much stuff can get in the way. I just don't feel like it, or I'm too busy with work or what have you. So it's kind of just like a goal list. Like I don't vacuum every day, but if I can run my wireless vacuum at least through like the living room, I feel so happy. Like I have those crisp lines on my carpet. So that's how I made this list. I think it would be different for every single person because everybody's house is different. Everybody's cleanliness goals are different. But for me, if I do these things, I feel really good about the cozy level in my house. So that's that. I haven't gotten to my desk work for the day yet, so I'll be tackling that once we're done with our little chat here. And I'll check that off as I go. And at the end of the day, this side, I'll wash this side clean to have a fresh start for tomorrow, and I'll wash this column clean to have a fresh start for my daily to-do list tomorrow. This side, I only wipe it clean at the end of the week. This goes through the whole week. So like I said, this breaks down the to-do list items I like to try to do each day. So that includes deeper cleaning items I do on certain days, errands I do on certain days. Like I have groceries in here 3 times because getting groceries is still kind of dicey in my area. Like there's a lot of demand and not a lot of products sometimes. So I will usually do like a Target or a Walmart grocery pickup run several times throughout the week. That's why that's on there so many times. But my point is that this is different for everybody. And the way to do this is just to take a blank sheet of paper and write down ideally everything that would happen in a week and then split it into days that make sense to do those things for you. So that's how I have mine divvied up. And this even includes like beauty things. Like I like to do my own nails once a week. So I have like a day to do my nails. I have like the day I like to wash my hair, the day I like to give myself a facial. So this is really like housekeeping stuff, work stuff, beauty stuff, etc. And you can fill this in, of course, to suit your own life. So as the week goes on, I check off my to-do list items. Also, if I have a specific to-do for a certain day, I will usually just write it in, and then once I get it done, I'll just erase it. So that is another way to keep track of my to-do list. If I have a lot of extra items I'm doing on a certain day, I'll just make it its own list. Or if I have a few extra things, I will just use like the corner of my weekly layout to write that in. Also, if I have a certain call at a certain time, I'll write it in here so I can kind of see it as I'm going through my daily routine and make sure I'm accounting for that. It's just a really flexible system. Also, I edit this document probably every single week. Like I'm always tweaking my routine. I'm always tweaking my to-do list to make it fit for me. I think routines are made to be broken, made to change, made to be flexible. It changes with the season. It changes with what's going on in your life. And I'm just constantly tweaking it for what works for me. Like right now it says that I'm waking up at 6:30. To be honest, I wake up more around like 7 probably. And then I take like an hour to journal and read and like have some quiet time. So next week when I print this out, I'll probably tweak that to say 7. Like, let's be real, I'm waking up at 7. So little things like that. It's really nice to be able to change it each week and just reprint it and stick it in this little sleeve that I made. And then at the end of the week, I tear it out and I move it over to the next page and I stick it back in. So I hope I explained it well. And like I said, this will be a printable that you can get in my shop. It's this 2-day document 2-page document. One is where you can fill in your daily routine. Obviously, your routine does not have to be anything like mine. You can put in your own times, your own activities, your own little checklist items. And then you can also put in your own weekly routine, whatever your recurring tasks are for each day of the week, and daily items. And you can print it out full size, or you can print it out the way I have it, which is half-page size. And I will show you how I print that right now. I just wanted to show you quickly how I print this. It's a 2-page document. So if you want to just print it full size on letter paper, that will work perfectly. You can hole punch it and stick it in a binder. Or since I'm currently working in essentially like a half-size page, the way I like to do it is go to the print menu. Sorry, my printer is just being kind of noisy now in the background, but I just like to go to the print menu. And I'm sure you probably already know this, but you can select, this is how it works on a Mac. I'm sure there's a similar thing on a PC, but you go to layout and I print 2 pages per sheet. So that way it prints out half size, it saves me paper, and it fits in the planner size that I'm using. And you can print it that way, or else you can just print it regular full size, or front and back, however works for you, etc. And then of course this is a Word document, so you can change all of the text in here to fit your own routine. Word documents are kind of iffy, where you change one thing and the images all move around and it gets a little crazy. So if you are using this printable in Word, you'll probably have to play with that. You could also bring it into Google Docs, which is, I think, maybe a little bit easier to navigate than Word is. Or you could just edit the PDF, which would probably be the best way, just to edit the text in that. And that way the images will stay put and things won't be sliding all around and getting crazy, because this is formatted in 2 columns. So sometimes that can get a little weird, like the spacing with the columns can get messed up. So just something to keep in mind if you do want to get this printable and mess with it yourself. And here it is hot off the press. So I just fold it in half and it is good to go. And you can obviously print this on any kind of paper you want. You could even scale it down to fit a smaller sized sheet. But I love to use just plain pink printer paper. I'll put a link. I just get it like on Amazon. And it just makes anything more fun and more festive when it's on a colored sheet of paper. So you could get your favorite color if you want, or just plain printer paper always works as well. And that's pretty much it. You can stick it in a laminated sleeve of some sort, or you can just print one each week and check it off like that, however you want to do it. And I would love to know if that system works for you. I've truly felt so much more peace of mind since I started doing it this way. I used to always have this like nagging sense that I was forgetting something, that I was like skipping something, or a whole day would go by and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I never took a second to like sit down and breathe or sit down and eat a meal at the table, or go walk and put my bare feet in the grass, because apparently that's what my soul needed. So little things like that. It's always a win when your planner can help you level up your life, not just in a productive sense, but also finding more meaning and special moments in your day and in your life. So that's what this has been a tool for me. And then this whole rest of the year is just a blank slate. And I will let you know if I change it up, but for now I'm enjoying this like very modified bullet journal. It's like not really fair to call it a bullet journal, but just taking a completely blank canvas and making it into whatever kind of planner I need for the week or for the day, and seeing where it takes me. Maybe I'll do a little bit more like scrapbooking type stuff in here. Maybe I won't. I know for sure I'll have a ton of lists. I love to just put lists of whatever's on my mind. And we'll see where it takes us. But that is the important key parts of the system. So I showed you my current planner. I showed you last year's planner. Gave you a brief update on our beautiful, beloved binder. And the last quick update I'll tell you, this is the Louis Vuitton Agenda in the medium size, and I just still use this for my wallet. And it doesn't get that much action these days because I don't go anywhere. And I also don't do a cash budget right now because I'm not shopping in person as much as possible. I'm not touching cash as much as possible. So if you've seen any of my old videos on how I like to organize this with cash, sadly that's like on hold. But it does still hold my coupons and my cards and keep me organized. And yeah, when I buy things, I take out my debit card and just do it that way for now. But that still comes with me everywhere. She's still my baby and still my wallet. So you can check out some of my old videos to see exactly how that's organized. You can check out some of my old videos to see a closer glimpse inside of this binder. And I will keep you posted in the future about my other planning endeavors. But for now, that is the update. So I feel like we're finally all on the same page. You've seen what I'm doing for planning. I hope that answers the questions. I know we all had some burning planner questions that just needed to be addressed. So I hope you enjoyed and got some ideas and inspiration. It's definitely a unique challenge to be a planner girl right now. And I think we all just need to figure out what works for us, and anything that can give you a little bit of a sense of peace and control and just make life a little bit less overwhelming is a good thing as far as I'm concerned. Also, if it's cute and pink and you can play with school supplies, that's best case scenario. So thank you for watching. Hit subscribe if you want to, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.